going on? Happy Monday, guys. And I am so excited to be back on here. And guys, I am going to lead off with something a little bit different, but just kind of a moment of honesty, right? With you guys, I feel like I have not been bringing my 150% in my energy these past few weeks. And I am recommitting myself to you guys because I think a lot of times the content that we consume, the energy we consume when we watch others has an impact on what we do with our daily lives and our, week to week activity. So I realized after some reflection and kind of looking back through the energy that I've been bringing these past few weeks in these lives, that I don't know that I have been fully giving my all in all of these as far as my energy levels. I think our content's been great, but as far as my energy level, I don't know that I've been 100% there. So coming in today, hot, coming in live today, 2 o'clock Eastern on Monday afternoon, and super excited to have this recommitment of energy and fire to you guys, and super excited to dive into our topic today. I'm going to pull up the comments real quick. Thank you guys so much. If you're joining me live here on Monday at 2 p.m. Eastern, comment live in the chat. And if you're watching the replay later on, comment replay. Just lets me know when everybody's watching, because my follow-up question to that is, how does this time work for you guys? Like 2 p.m. Eastern on Monday, I've gotten a couple people who wish it was another time. And I just want to find out if that's a universal thought process. So if you guys could put in the comments, if you're watching live or if you're watching the replay, and if you could let me know in the comments as well, if Monday at 2 Eastern or whatever time it is currently for you works well for your schedules. If it's a time that you would like to watch it, then make sure you put that in the comments if this is good. And if you would rather see it at a different day or a different time, let me know that as well, because this is supposed to be interactive for you guys. And so the more convenient I can make it for you to be on here to interact and get your questions answered, the better this whole environment is going to be. I'm here to serve you guys, not just to serve myself. So I want to make sure that I'm doing that and putting this training on at a time that's convenient for you guys. All right. Thank you guys so much for hopping on. Got a good crew here today. So today our topic is defining your brand. And this topic really hit home because it's one of my most asked questions, right? Like, I want to put together my brand. I want to organize my brand. And I get that question a lot because a lot of people know that I have a graphic design background. And so the initial thought process is, well, I can't have a brand unless I have a logo, right? My brand is the makeup of all these design elements. And I've realized that a lot of people don't recognize kind of the foothold that you have to put in before you get into all that shiny stuff, right? We've talked about all the shiny objects before, and there's some things you need to ask yourself to really define that brand before you get into the creative process of it. And I think you'll find that once you kind of put in this initial work to define what your brand is, who your brand is, then you'll find that the creative side of it comes a lot easier and just makes a lot more sense. So who's ready to get excited? Who's ready to get started? If you're excited, comment excited in the comments and let me know that you're ready to dive in. I'm going to take a sip of water because I can tell my throat is already getting raw today. Okie dokie. So first and foremost, what is real estate branding? And I'd love to hear from you guys in the comments. What do you think real estate branding is? I'm going to dive into kind of what it's not. And we've touched on this a little bit already. But to you guys, what is real estate branding? And I love it. Thanks so much for the feedback, guys, on the times. Manny said, make this a Zoom meeting. I've thought about that as well. So if you guys think this would be better, sorry, not to backtrack, but if you guys think this would be better as a Zoom so you can get on and be more interactive that way, then put Zoom in the comments if you'd rather see this as a Zoom as opposed to a Facebook Live. That's a good little note there, though. So what is real estate branding to you guys? For me, what it's not, like I said, it's not your logo. It's not your business cards. It's not your slogan. It's not, your social media pieces. It's, those are creative elements to represent your brand. But to me, that's not what your brand is. Does that make sense? Really, what real estate branding is, what your brand is, or your real estate marketing brand, what it should do is define who you are and why people work with you. Real estate branding should define who you are and why people work with you. There's a few ways you can unpack that. I know it can be slightly intimidating to kind of like think about, well, if it's not all of these easy shiny objects, like how do I figure that out, right? And so we're going to go through a series of questions. So if you have your pen and paper out today, I strongly encourage you take notes. We're going to go through a series of questions, some little exercises to help you kind of define your brand and what things you need to think about when you're thinking about how to address that statement, how to define who you are and why people work with you. All right. So, kind of jumping in to question number 1. And I do have notes, guys. I'm not Superwoman. So I do have notes and I will refer to them occasionally. I've got some here on a notepad in front of me. I've got some up on the screen beside me. So, so number 1, the first thing that you need to start thinking about if you're wanting to figure out your brand is, what are your goals? And that might sound silly, right? Like, what do my goals have to do with my brand? They have a lot to do actually with your brand. What are your goals? Where do you want to be in the next year? Where do you want to be in the next 5 years? Do you want to be part of a team? Do you want to be working with a particular type of client in a particular area? What are your goals? And this is relevant and this is really important because the last thing you want to do is create a brand around one thing and then in 5 years be completely miserable and not working with who you want to be working with, not working in the mode and the method and what you want to be working, and having to like reinvent the wheel all over again. Who wants that? Not me. Not at all. So, number 1, what are your goals? Where do you financially want to be in 5, 10 years? Like I said, do you want to be a team? Do you want to have employees, like staff? How do you want your workday to be structured? You know, especially in real estate, a lot of times it becomes a 7-day-a-week, 24-hour job, right? Do you want it to be like that forever? If not, then what does it look like for that to be different? And I probably mentioned this book on here before. I don't know if I have it. Oh, I do. Okay. Give me a second. This book, guys, is my favorite book when it comes to future planning for your business. It's called Vivid Vision. It's super easy and small and short, and it's super easy to read. I will always bring you guys book recommendations because I love to read, and I especially love to read about things that are going to help me grow my business. So Vivid Vision is really something that will allow you to lay out what you want your business to look like. But think about, what are your goals, not just short term, but what are your long-term goals as well. So that way you can figure out if your brand, however you want to make it, fits in line with those goals, right? Number 2, who's going to help you reach these goals? Who are the people that you're impacting? Obviously, your clients, that's someone to think about when you think about your goals, how you're going to impact them, your community, your family, any staff or assistants or anything like that, team members, your brokerage, your colleagues. Who are the people that are going to help you reach your goal in this all-encompassing, omnipresent kind of manner? Who are those people? I have a little activity for you guys for this as well. So what you can do, if you want to think about like your clients, basically, right? Take your top 10 clients. And if you don't have top 10, maybe start with your top 3 or for top 5, think about it and scale to your business. But take your top 5 to 10 clients and write down their names, like your favorite ones, your best experiences, that kind of thing. Write down their names. And then what I want you to do is go look them up. Go look up their Facebook, their Instagram, anything that can kind of give you insight into them as people. Go pull up their social presence. And if you can, print out those profiles. and I know that seems crazy, but we're going to get to a purpose here in a second. Go ahead and print out those profiles of your top 5 to 10 clients. And then what I want you to do is I want you to sit down and I want you to take each of those profiles and start looking at them. And when you start to see similarities, highlight it. Oh, this person, they have 2 kids. Oh, a lot of my clients have, two or 3 kids. Or they work at this particular place, or they come from this particular place, right? So start to highlight the similarities. What this does is it allows you to see a pattern of your ideal client. If you guys have been in this group long enough, you've probably been through the workshop with me where we define our avatar and we did that whole worksheet and everything. And what I've come to realize with that worksheet is a lot of people still get stuck. So, what this does is it allows you to take that process a little bit further and like put real people to it instead of just imaginary people. So print out those profiles and highlight those similarities. Okay. Our goal here with figuring out this pattern and figuring out who these people are is that then you can figure out ways that you can help them, you can impact them. It might be, with their process of, it's just going to depend on every single person. Like, as far as what your ideal client is, what are the things they need help with in their life? And that's what's going to be something that allows you to kind of drive the actions in your business and in your brand. Sorry, guys, my throat gets really raw when I talk. Number 3, we kind of started to touch on this. How are you helping them? So if you look at those people, how did you help them? Did you help them buy? Did you help them sell? Did you help them do something else? What are the things that they needed in their life? Maybe you have a strong client base of people who have, parents moving back in with them, that kind of thing. So you've had to find a lot of multi-generational kind of housing. Maybe, they are needing to find better schools. Maybe, I don't want to go too deep into that, all of that, what the could be's, but how is it that you helped them? More so than just buying or selling a house. What was the why that you helped fulfill in their transaction? And the key here, guys, is to get really specific, like really dig deep. And it might even be worth like a post-close phone call, like a check-in phone call, like, hey, how has that change? How has that move impacted you guys? Like digging a little bit deeper into those whys and like really what that impact was of that time you're together as far as that change in their lives, because they're making a big change in their life, right? And so when you start to understand that the way you helped them and the whys and the impacts and all of that, then it's going to give you a clearer vision on what you should be doing in your branding. Is that making sense to you guys, or am I rambling? Let me know in the comments if that's making sense for you guys. So the next thing that we're going to do is figure out how do we take the answers to these questions and translate them to our branding, right? How do we take all of this information that we're finding and we translate it into branding, into value? How do we make it beneficial to our business? My notes just closed, so give me a second. Tech fail. All right. So in this transition, you have to think about, how are these things that I'm doing for people? How are these impacts? How are they benefiting? How is it that what I do on a daily basis, which is helping buyers and sellers predominantly in this group, how is this benefiting the general public? How is this benefiting my ideal client? What are the benefits they see? And that's why it's so important to do those first couple steps, right? That we just talked about. But what this is going to allow you to do is it's going to allow you to translate your value as a realtor into benefits for them. Because, and this is something that you guys are fighting with all the time, right? Like to prove your worth, especially in today's age with technology and everything. And we all know in this group just how valuable a realtor is. But trying to always explain that to the general public can be tough, right? Especially to sellers nowadays. So you have to think about what is it that you do and how do you help people and how is that a benefit to them? What are the benefits? So you need to be able to translate that value into benefit. Number 2, and I know we've kind of skipped, we went from questions to what was my topic for this section? Branding. Yeah. So translating those answers into your brand. Number 2, you need to create a unique message. A lot of people might think this is like a slogan or a mission. I like mission a lot because it doesn't have to be like a tagline, but it is a little bit longer. But you need to create a unique message. The way that you can do that is take the impact you have, take those benefits that you've been writing down, the similarities. What that's going to allow you to do is kind of understand your audience. You know, if you have an older audience, you might go with like more traditional marketing materials, more, more traditional fonts, things like that. If you have a younger audience, you might go with more modern materials. You might go with digital marketing, or you might go with cleaner fonts that are a little bit more modern and maybe sans serif style. But your unique message is going to come out in a mixture of your logo, of your mission, of your slogan, of your social media templates. That's where all this is going to come together. And that unique message is going to be the driving force of who you work with and who you impact and the benefits they receive when they work with you. So formulate your answers, your discoveries into a unique message. And if you guys want to put together, here's a one-time offer. If you are not in the transformation program, but you would like some feedback on your unique message, because I know that can be tough, you can message me and I'll look it over. No pressure, no cost, anything. Send me your unique message and I'll look it over and give you feedback on it. And I said, if you're not in the transformation program, guys, if you're in transformation, it's a given. That's what we do. It's is kind of put together that unique message and amongst other things. But if you want me to look it over, then we can do that. But that unique message is what's going to really drive home your point, right? Of who you work with, the benefits you bring them. The reason why it's important to kind of niche down and define that ideal client, as opposed to just saying, I'll work with anybody and everybody, is because whenever you're trying to attract clients, they need to feel like you're speaking specifically to them. And if you're casting too broad of a net, then your message isn't going to resonate with anyone. Does that make sense? Your message needs to be crafted so that way the people that you're trying to attract feel like you're specifically talking about them. How many times have you guys read an advertisement or seen something on TV that's like, are you experiencing blah, 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 blah? Or, are you tired of mom guilt? Or, things like that. Because they're talking to a very specific audience, which is allowing it to more hit home with you. So you're more likely to pay attention to what they have to say, right? So think about that unique message and really the impacts and the benefits that you're going to have to your audience. Few things that you're going to want to have. We'll start with graphics, and then we'll go into kind of more of a copywriting phase for your brand. A great real estate logo is important, especially if you're planning to create a team or have any sizability to yourself. But the nice thing about a logo is it kind of takes your answers, like your feeling about who you want to work with, and it allows you to put it into a nice, pretty package, right? So a good real estate logo, it can also just be your name, but playing with fonts and things like that. I do recommend working with a designer of some sort if you're not design inclined, someone who can really put together your thoughts and everything about what it is that you want to reach, who you want to reach, that kind of thing. Websites. You've heard me talk about websites before. So websites are great stagnant things. I think at a minimum, your website should be lead generating, period. But I prefer Facebook groups. I prefer more social interaction because it's more up to date. It's more real time. But a website is a great place to be able to drive people if you don't have another place to drive traffic to. I like Facebook groups for driving traffic because it allows you to like be in front of people regularly. But if you're going to have a website, make sure it looks good. Make sure it's lead generating. Emails. I'm a big believer in an email list. So and we've talked about this before, the importance of having a database and creating that CRM, making sure you have emails that are clean, that are consistent, that vibe with your ideal client. They have the same kind of messaging and color scheme and everything that would attract your ideal client. Make sure it's listing those benefits, things like that. And then, your social media. So everything should be, and I'm sorry, I've got allergies going like crazy today, guys. Everything should be consistent. So your logo colors should be consistent with your social media colors. If you can make it consistent with your website, even better. I know that's not always possible, but everything should feel fairly consistent. So that way, when people see your brand in one place and then they see it in another place in a different mode, it will be recognizable, right? So making sure all of your social media, your logo, business cards, all of that are consistent. Into copywriting, things that you're going to want to have. Oh my gosh, these allergies. Things that you're going to want to have. You're going to want to have a 1-sentence pitch, your elevator pitch, basically. When somebody says, "What do you do?" a lot of times we just say, "I sell real estate," right? I want you to think deeper than that. I want it to still be short and concise, but I want it to be more along the lines of, I help first-time home buyers figure out their dream investment, or I help growing families secure their move up home. I want you to think about more so like who it is I work with and the benefit I bring, and that's going to create your elevator pitch. So no more, I sell real estate, and more of, I work with A to do B, to secure B, to make their dreams of B coming true, right? So you're going to want to have your 1-sentence pitch. I'm a big believer in a mission statement or an about statement kind of thing, where it kind of lets people in a little bit more about who you are. Remember, we've talked about this before. They need to know, like, and trust you. So if they know you, this is going to be that area where they can kind of get to know you a little bit better. They can understand you on a deeper level. So there probably needs to be a little bit of personal in there. That tends to help warm people up, but also more about what your mission in your business is and who it is that you like to work with, the benefits you bring. Again, we go back to that who and benefits, the impact and benefits nonstop in everything that you do. And then I want you to put together 2 call to actions, one for buyers and one for sellers. And your call to actions typically are, they can be 2 to 3 sentences, but it is the thing that's going to encourage people to take action. And you guys have to tell people to take action or else they're not going to do it. So it's going to have a little bit about your value proposition. So your impact, your benefits, right? And then it's going to give direction on what they should do. It's going to say, it's the call me, it's the click here. You have to give them direction on what to do, buyers and sellers. So I encourage you to write that down. So remember, that was for your copywriting. It was a 1-sentence pitch, your elevator pitch, basically. It's your mission statement or your about statement, a little bit about you or your mission, your impacts and your benefits to your clients. It's the call to action for buyers and a call to action for sellers. I encourage you to have both, just because, you might be like, well, I don't want to work with any buyers. But guys, if the market 180s us, you're going to want to have that ready. You're going to want to have all your stuff, all your ducks in a row, so that way you can be prepared to work with whomever you want to in that moment. Those are kind of the things that, and I'm just moving through my notes. Those are the things that I find to be really good foundational points for defining your brand. Those are the things that help you establish a foundation. And then from there, the nice thing about that, once you've established that foundation, is it almost creates like a train track for your business. So then whenever you guys get the calls for the magazines, or you get the calls for the Facebook ads, or whatever else it may be, you have a train track, you have a path to guide your business. Does that align with my goals here? Does align with my brand? Doesn't? Not going to waste my money. Does it? If it does, okay, let's give it a shot. It's going to help you save money in the long run, because you're going to do less of that dart throwing just to see what sticks. And you're going to have a clear path forward that you can always refer back to when you're trying to make decisions in your business. Does that make sense? I know we've been talking for a little bit. Give me a 2 in the comments if I'm making sense, or 1 in the comments if you have questions. True. Cool. Thank you, Angel. All right. So what does branding do for you? Branding, first of all, it gets you as a business person out there, right? Like, everybody brands themselves that's in business. Think about traditional businesses, McDonald's, Starbucks, Target, and I'm just going Chick-fil-A. Like, I'm going with the very basic brands, but Tesla, even, like, think about every business is out there and they all brand themselves in some way, right? I still to this day remember the Like a Rock ads from when I was a kid, and I think somebody's going to get me on this. It was either Chevy or Ford, but it sticks with me because it reminds me of like the durability, right? And maybe it should have stuck a little bit better. I was young, but every company has a brand, and just because you're an independent contractor business doesn't mean you shouldn't have that same thought process when it comes to marketing yourself, because the benefits of having a brand is that sticky factor, right? It's going to allow people to remember you a lot easier, which keeps you top of mind a lot easier, which is always our goal. So branding can help you in having a steady stream of clients, because it keeps you top of mind. It keeps you in front of people. It keeps you relevant. It can help you create better partnerships if you're looking to create partnerships in your business with other contractors, other realtors. You can have better partnerships because you have a clear, defined process to your business, clear, defined process and mission to your business. That control of your business and that organization is going to look really good. And I was trying to think of a better word than that, but it's going to look really good to those who are watching you too. So if you're ever looking to get into leadership in real estate, maybe you're looking to own your own brokerage, or you're looking to be involved in leadership at your brokerage, that effect of having, pardon my language, having your shit together in your business and looking professional and looking organized and having this brand is going to make you a lot more interesting to leadership, because it gives the impression. Thank you, Angel. It was Chevy. I was thinking, like, my brain really wanted to say Chevy, but then I was questioning it. But that's going to make you look like you're going to have a much bigger impact even than you might have. But because you have this impression, you're giving off this impression of being this brand, then you're going to be able to get a lot more opportunities for that. Um, the nice thing about having a brand as well is the credibility it brings. There's credibility with a brand. You guys know, and maybe more women than men, we see like boutiques and stuff on Instagram that sell clothes all the time, right? And you might order from them occasionally, but you're also like cringing because you're like, is it going to show up? Is it going to be like what I hope it's going to be? I think it's the reason why so many people struggle with buying clothes on Amazon, even though it has become very successful and there's a lot of wins with it. But it's because there's this unknown, right? Like you don't know, there's no credibility with it, especially when you're buying clothes on Amazon, because who knows where it's coming from. Like, and if the pictures are going to match what you get. But when you have credibility, it's going to allow you to have a lot better retention rate. It's going to allow you to have a lot better referral rate. And it's just going to allow you to make a bigger impact in your market. And then also, when you have this brand, you're going to have a higher perceived value. So, not saying you're not going to get questions about cutting your commission, because I just think that's going to always happen. But your perceived value is going to be a lot higher because you look, again, like you have your shit together and like everything is cohesive and you have this professional business. Nobody goes into McDonald's and asks them to cut the price of their number one. And I don't know what the number one is anymore, but nobody goes in. Nobody goes into Starbucks and says, hey, can you give me that peppermint mocha for $2 instead of $6, right? That's because they have built up this brand and there's an expectation of you're not going to go in there and negotiate. And building a brand for yourself and building up this concept of a professional company is going to allow you to have that same credibility, going to allow you to have that same perceived value, that same expectation that we don't negotiate here, right? This is what it is. I offer service. It is X. And if you don't like it, then you should go to Y. And not saying that that's what you're going to say, but like that's the expectation people are going to have whenever you have this more organized look to your business. What I want you guys to do is, I'm going to sit up so I can get back in here real quick, is I want you to comment for me and let me know what's your biggest takeaway from defining your brand. What's the biggest thing? Because I feel like we compacted a lot of information into a really small time frame. I don't even know how long we've been on here now, about 30 minutes. What is your biggest takeaway from defining your brand? Was it the questions to help narrow down who you're working with and how you're impacting them, the who you are and why do people work with you? Was it the items? Like you should have these items. We talked about the logo and the copywriting and all of that. Was it those items, or was it the benefits that having a defined brand can bring to you? Be more specific. And I think Manny is referencing being more specific in his brand as being his takeaway. And I think that's a big one. I think in real estate, we're always like, let me just work with everybody and tell everybody I'm working with everybody, and that'll bring me lots of business. Focusing on my vision so my mission statement can be constantly refined. Yes. So, and I love both of those. But yeah, being more specific, niching down into exactly who it is you want to work with and why you want to work with them and the benefits you bring to them. You know, for example, for me, I want to work with agents, real estate agents, realtors who are in the midst of their business, maybe doing 2 to 3 deals a month or even 1 to 2 deals a month, and who are looking to kind of take their business to the next level through a more organized system of their marketing, of their branding, of their processes, who want a more systemized process to their business. Those are the kind of people that I want to work with, because I know that by working with them, I can help them create systems within their business. I can help them create marketing plans within their business. And I know that I can help them excel to that next level, because once you get that systemized approach into your business, once you find a routine and once you find that system to your business to bring in clients regularly, whether it be through new client acquisition, whether it be through referral, whatever it may be, and there's different ways that we work through that. But once you have that defined system in place, then you've just started a snowball, right? And then you have that momentum that just keeps that snowball rolling. So you have consistent and repeatable business that is now predictable. You can actually make plans for your money as opposed to just hoping and praying it comes in regularly, right? Get off that roller coaster. So for me, that's my defined brand. Instead of just saying, I work with all realtors. I work with realtors at a very specific stage of their business because I can have a bigger impact when I'm focused in on that level. Does that make sense? Okay. So what we're going to do is you're going to message me and send me your unique statement that we talked about earlier, your unique message, so that I can help you refine that. And I can help you get that really, and I just saw Donna, you said, please tell me this is recorded. Yes, it will be recorded right here in the group, and I will pin it to the top of the group after today. But what you're going to do is you're going to message me with that statement, and I'm going to come back to you with feedback. It may be that we can do it over message, or we may hop on a call, whichever is easiest for you guys, because I want to help impact as many people here today with your messaging, so that way you can get that snowball going, right? So, and then also I want to know, who is it that is in the room today with me that feels like they're at that place where you feel like you're at a tipping point, like you can make it happen, you can make that consistency happen, but you're just not quite sure what you're missing. You feel like you're just at that tipping point. If you're there, I would love to talk to you, because there might be some knowledge I can share with you in my experience. And mind you, in our brokerage, I work with 190 agents regularly on things just like this. But I also have agents that I work with all over the country. So there might be things that I've seen or heard that you haven't quite thought of yet. So for anybody who feels like they are at the tipping point of their business, of making it consistent, of getting off that roller coaster, getting off that feast or famine, I would love to chat. And so if that is you, I want you to comment transformation in the chat. And the reason I normally save using transformation for whenever we're actually opening the program, but the reason why I'm doing that today is because next week we're going to be rolling out a whole new type of transformation. It's a whole new program. All of my current clients in transformation, you're going to get access to this program as a benefit to being with me already. But it's going to be a whole new program of like 57 modules to helping you do things just like you did today. Little concise bits to break down to grow and systematize your business. That's not out yet though. What I want to talk to you about, and why I want you to comment transformation in the chat, is because I want to talk to you where you are in your business today and see if there's any knowledge that I can share today to help you move the needle. Not asking you to buy into a program, just want to help you move the needle. So comment transformation if that sounds like something you want to talk about. And yeah, next week, we're going to bring in some new exciting stuff. I'm going to share some little tidbits of the new program. Super excited about that. And we kick off April, guys. We are finishing up the third month of the year, and I want you to think about, where are you in your goals? What is it that you said you were going to be at right now and you're not there yet? And what's the thing holding you back? Think about that. Feel free to message me. You guys know my DMs are always open. My messages are always open. I'm always happy to chat and be helpful. Anybody who has talked to me could probably comment in here and tell you that I give away the farm on all of our calls, because I'm just there to help impact you guys and give you as much help as possible. So that's all I have for you today. I hope you have a fantastic rest of your day. We are in spring. Hopefully the weather's warming up wherever you are. I'm a big weather nerd, so I'll be watching that for everybody. I hope you guys have a great week and go out, kick some butt, and make some money. Have a good one, you guys.